Today we'll be comparing two of the most prestigious and popular sports brands ever made in human history. Nike
Oh my god.
and Adidas.
Oh no!
Who will win? Our hypothesis was that in the future, Nike and Adidas will continue to increase their total revenue in a sustained pace, but Nike will ultimately have more money.
This is the data that we found, and these are the two sources that we used to find our data.
As you can see, this is a scatter plot without the trend line, and this is the scatter plot with the trend line.
Yes, the trend line of the data is similar for both of our data sets. We believe that there are several reasons that cause the trend line to be similar. First of all, both Nike and Adidas were and are top competitors in the athletic department, and they have been growing in popularity for a long period of time. Both companies are well known all around the world and are the most common athletic stores. This would cause the graph to have a similar increase throughout the given time. Secondly, more specifically, the trend lines for both companies are similar due to the effects of being popular. For example, Nike and Adidas receive more and more contracts from famous players or athletes such as LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Derrick Rose, and Damian Lillard. As these companies sponsor famous players, sports fans are more attracted to the company. Additionally, Nike and Adidas produce signature shoes, clothes, and gear for these special players, which causes fans to purchase these items. Also, Nike and Adidas collaborate with celebrities such as Kanye West and Drake to make new clothing lines and shoes. Similar to the basketball players, many of these celebrities' fans are more drawn to the new and limited items, even though they are not into sports. Nike and Adidas make limited amounts of shoes and products so that they are more sought after and eventually get sold out. Although these are only a few of the main reasons for a similar trend line, there are many other factors that contribute to the increase and similar trend line.
Our data that we took from Nike and Adidas showed a long, strong, positive linear association. Most of the years for both athletic companies showed an equivalent or slightly greater or smaller global revenue, which caused the graph to produce a straight as well as a positive line. Additionally, there were no outliers. Both Nike and Adidas continuously produced a global revenue that was within 5 billion of the previous years. This is another variable that contributed to the strong positive linear association. Since there were no outliers, we didn't have to exclude any data from our trend line, and we could infer that both Nike and Adidas were able to offer items that were liked by customers. We could also see that both companies were continuously getting increasingly popular from years 2004 to 2015. Using the skills of extrapolation, we could find that both companies are going to increase in their global revenues for the years ahead.
Every day I spend my time drinking wine, feeling fine.
First of all, I will try finding the total revenue of Nike in 2016. Let's start by looking at the trend line for Nike. The equation is y equals 1.559x plus 9.96a, with x being the year and y being the total revenue. Since 2016 is the 13th year starting 2004, the value of x would be 13. Now if we substitute 13 for x, the equation will become like this. Y equals 1.559 times 13 plus 9.968. If we solve this equation, the result would become y equals 30.235. Now this indicates that the global revenue in 2016 would be $30.235 billion when using the line of best fit to extrapolate the value. Now, using the same logic that I used to find Nike's total revenue, I also found out Adidas' revenue. We can say that this predicted value is fairly accurate because the line of best fit is accurate. These two are directly relevant because the predicted point is basically just an extrapolated point from the line of best fit. Now, we can say that the line of best fit is accurate because there's a fairly strong association. Association is directly relevant to the credibility of the line of best fit, since if there is a weak association, The line of best fit will just be in the middle, not being accurate to where the points actually are. However, the real world doesn't always end up mathematically. There might be many unnatural events that can sway the predicted result. For example, if Nike is exposed using inhumane slaves for their work, the world might lose trust in them and not buy from them anymore. Like this, incidents that cannot be calculated mathematically can happen and change the result. So now I'll find out the solution or the intersecting point of the two trend lines, and that is basically when Nike's total revenue and Adidas's total revenue are equal. So as you can see, I used the method of elimination, and and I am also aware that my checked value and the value I found is different. However, because I rounded x because it was an irrational number, it is only natural for a small error like a 0.01 difference to happen. And then I also used the second method in order to check my elimination method, and I chose graphing. And using a graphing calculator, I entered the linear equations of the two trend lines, and I got up with the conclusion that the coordinates of the intersecting point is approximately x equals negative 5.37 and y equals 1.61, which is equivalent to the value I found in elimination. This point is off-grid, and what do these intersecting coordinates negative 5.37, 1.61 say about the information? It means that negative 5 years prior to 2003 is the time when Nike and Adidas's global revenue were equal, and that global revenue that was equal is about $1.61 billion.
Hypothesis of this project was that in the future Nike and Adidas will continue to increase their total revenue in a sustained pace, but Nike will ultimately have more money. From observing our graph and research, we found that our prediction was correct. Another way that we can prove our hypothesis is from the equation trendline slope association, which all has been mentioned earlier. Interpolating and extrapolating the trendline can also prove our hypothesis is correct.
We additionally found out that the 11 out of the 15 spots from the biggest athlete endorsements list are from Nike, while Adidas only has 3 out of the 15 spots on the list. Nike also excels at making collaborations with celebrities. Nike has 9 out of 20 spots on the list for top collaborations of 2015. Adidas only has 3. Observing all of the aspects of a better business plan, Nike triumphs over Adidas. Overall, we would like to conclude by stating the final answer to our project, which is Nike's global revenue is higher than Adidas's if they have been selling their merchandise for 12 years, since 2002.
Thank you for watching!